Hi everybody, and welcome to this episode of Baseball Betsy and Ross Baseball Talk. This Sunday's edition, we're on the road. We're at the Phillies Blue Jays game at Historic Jack Russel Stadium. It's important to note that Phillies Drive is closed. It's been since 2003 since the Phillies have played in this stadium for spring training before they moved to Spectrum Field. But today, the Phillies minor league team, the Clearwater Threshers, returns to Historic Jack Russel Stadium to take on the Toronto Blue Jays affiliate, the Dunedin Blue Jays, who are here while their stadium is being renovated. So let's go inside and see what we can see today. Jack Russell Memorial Stadium here in Clearwater was opened as Jack Russell Stadium in 1955. It had a capacity of 4,744 when it opened, and in 2003 the seating capacity was raised to 6,942 people. It was the spring training home of the Philadelphia Phillies from 1955 through 2003. It is currently used by St. Pete College and Clearwater High School as their home field, and this summer is Dunedin Blue Jays Florida State League team while their stadium's being renovated. If you decide to come to the stadium, come in off of Seminole Street. Seminole Road here is to the south side of the stadium, and you can turn north onto Phillies Drive and follow Phillies Drive up to the parking area. It's important to note that while many maps say that Phillies Drive is a through street, it is not, and it is closed on the north end. So you must approach this area from the south. If you do come here, you may want to be like Ross and look for shade outside the stadium under the old oak trees, because there's a distinct lack of shade inside the stadium, as you can see. Hopefully in a few years these oak trees here will grow in and provide some shade for patrons. And here you can see the Blue Jays locker room. There's nothing blocking the fans from the players as they go to the field. Here we are with a view of the Jays side of the field. Over there is the Threshers visitor side. There are refreshments on the far side of the stadium. Though the stadium is small and has small grandstands, the sight lines are great. If you go behind the grandstands, there's a series of tombstone-like memorials or monuments to former Phillies greats, a sort of wall of fame, if you will. Here you have Robin Roberts, who was a right-handed pitcher for the Phillies. He played from 1948 to 1961. He was inducted here in 1976. Next is Steve Carlton, the left-handed pitcher for the Phillies from 1972 to 1986. He was inducted in 1994. He was one of the all-time greatest left-handers. I'd also like to point out the light standards here. They are Phillies pinstripe with the P, and at the top it's painted like a baseball. Next is Mike Schmidt. He played for the Phillies from 1972 to 1989. He's inducted in 1995. He's also known as baseball's greatest third baseman and the greatest player in Phillies history. Next is Richie Ashburn, center fielder from the Phillies, 1948 to 1959. He was inducted in 1995. Last is Jim Bunning, right-handed pitcher, Phillies 1964 to 67, 1970 to 71, inducted 1996. Interesting side note on Jim Bunning. After he retired from the Phillies, he had a political career, which included terms in the Kentucky State Senate, U.S. House of Representatives, and the U.S. Senate. First pitched at Jack Russell Stadium here in 1964. On the back of Jim Bunning's marker, there's a history of Jack Russell Stadium, including the dates that they signed the paperwork, the starting lineup of the first game of the Phillies spring training here, which was March 10th, 1955. Some of the names you might notice from that starting day lineup are Richie Ashburn and Robin Roberts. It also has the starting lineup of the final game here on May 28th, 2003, with names like Rollins, Utley, Abreu, Tomei, Burrell, Bell, and Randy Wolf. On this monument, we have Hall of Famers who have played at Jack Russell Stadium. You might recognize quite a few of these names, like Stan Musial, Yogi Berra, Roberto Clemente, Whitey Ford, Willie Mays, Mickey Mantle, Don Drysdale, Pee Wee Reese, Lou Brock, Jim Palmer, Carl Yastrzemski, Steve Carlton, Phil Niekro, Phil Rizzuto, Gary Carter, Wade Boggs, Ozzie Smith, Mike Piazza, Jeff Bagwell, Tim Raines, Pedro Martinez, Ken Griffey Jr., and Vladimir Guerrero, whose son, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., is playing with the Blue Jays today. This marker denotes former Phillies in the Hall of Fame, including Sparky Anderson, Ryne Sandberg, Ferguson Jenkins, Joe Morgan, and Tony Perez. And on this marker, we have Jack Russell, the man for whom the stadium was named. He was a native of Clearwater and a right-handed pitcher who spent 17 years in professional baseball, from 1926 to 1940. He played with teams such as the Boston Red Sox, Chicago Cubs, Cleveland Indians, Washington Senators, Detroit Tigers, and the St. Louis Cardinals. He became a city commissioner of Clearwater and the chairman of the Clearwater Baseball Committee. He championed the cause for a new stadium. This marker denotes the 1980 World Series win. They won the Eastern Division title, edged the Houston Astros in dramatic NLCS, and defeated the Kansas City Royals 4-2 in the World Series, the first world championship in the team's 98-year history. Tug McGraw fanned Willie Wilson for the final out. The following spring, the City of Clearwater and Clearwater Chamber of Commerce saluted the world champions with a parade through the city's downtown. Manager Dallas Green, starting 8, and featured catcher Bob Boone, first baseman Pete Rose, second baseman Manny Trillo, shortstop Larry Boa, third baseman Mike Schmidt, left fielder Greg Luzinski, center fielder Gary Maddox, and right fielder Blake McBride. Left-handed pitcher Steve Carlton anchored the staff that included right-handed pitcher Dick Ruthven, right-handed pitcher Bob Walk, right-handed pitcher Larry Christensen, right-handed pitcher Marty Bystrom, and left-handed pitcher Randy Lurch. Relievers, left-handed pitcher Tug McGraw, right-handed pitcher Ron Reed, left-handed pitcher Dickie Knowles, and right-handed pitcher Warren Brustar. The honors that year went to Schmidt for the National League and World Series MVP, Carlton the National League Cy Young, and Trillo the NLCS MVP. I'm going to end the video with some close-ups of the markers. Hope you liked the video. Please be sure to click the subscribe button and the notification bell down below. I'm going to put a link to our other video on Jack Russell Stadium in the description, as well as somewhere up above here, so that you can see more on the history of the stadium.